Hi, my name's Allison Marcotte. I have Chapter 8 Building Communities, and I did kind of like a little graphic organizer with what it is, why we use it, and how we can implement it into the classroom. I also have a few little sayings that I read in the chapter. So, building communities in a classroom is super important, and it's kind of like a new way of teaching. It's removing rewards and punishments and using communication as a whole. Rather than having your students individualized, you're going to see your students as a community and kind of like a little community. Um, Teachers stress in this chapter that students should be taught how to use right and wrong because their actions affect others. Why we should use this in teaching. The rewards and punishment is kind of like an old way of teaching. Now, when we eliminate rewards and a punishment and focus on engagements and communication, students are more likely to take academic risks and feel safe in their classroom environment, whether that's learning or the friendships that they've made. It makes them develop a voice because they feel like they can talk. I know as a student, I was always nervous to talk in front of my teachers or my other peers because I didn't feel like my words were good enough to say. Also, you can create a positive relationship between students and teachers as a whole, and it helps them develop social skills. Right here, I did eliminating the use of rewards and praise because, for one, it only works for short periods of time and it loses effectiveness relatively easy. Students also, or teachers also, are often giving rewards as when they finish tasks, and students don't gather the information that they're learning because they're looking forward to the reward. For example, if you have a student that finishes his work early and you say, yeah, if you finish your work early, you can go on the computer. That student is going to rush through the assignment and not grasp the concept that he's learning rather than understanding it just because he has to. He's going to want to go on the computer and play games. Also, I put on here where it says, if praise is used, it should be appreciative rather than evaluative. Appreciative praise it doesn't evaluate a personality or judge someone's character. An evaluative praise makes students kind of rely on adult approval. And I did a little scenario down here. So this one that you can't really see it is evaluative. And the teacher is standing next to a student that's holding a picture that says, great job. But then appreciative, we have the same picture of the student and the teacher. And she says, how does this look? And the teacher says, I like the details you used in the picture. The colors are beautiful. So it's giving the student more feedback on their drawing rather than just saying good job or great job. I also read a little snippet in the book or the chapter from the author, and I really thought that it did a great example of why we shouldn't have traditional discipline in the classroom now. And it is, he argues that such programs may change behavior temporarily, but cannot change the student. Traditional discipline is to make students behave a certain way and comply with adult demands rather than support or facilitate children's social and moral growth. And this was on page 143 by Brandt, 1995. I really like that because I think that that's so true with students nowadays. You can see the difference of like when our parents were younger with the social and moral growth rather than just learning to learn. So now on how we can implement this in the classroom. Well, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. Okay. How we can implement this into the classroom. You can have class discussions as a whole every day, whether it's talking about an assignment or talking about a past weekend or important events that are happening in history as of that day, it lets students like develop a voice and an understanding for their peers, and giving them the chance to give their opinions and facilitate different or understand different opinions from others. Also, another way you can implement it is having class jobs. This ties back into giving the students a safe place in their environment because they feel like it's their classroom also. So like giving the students the job of a messenger where they're delivering the mail or the paperwork to the front office, which gives them, well, this is our paperwork for our class. I have a responsibility. Also, another way is having a line leader getting their class to and from safely to each destination. The one I really haven't used, but I know a lot of teachers that have used it. It's a paper passer adder, and it's where the student is usually passing out the papers, whether it's return papers or passing out new papers. And I feel like this helps with the students that really need hands-on and help with behavioral, because it gives them a sense of like, okay, I'm kind of like the teacher, I'm passing out papers. I also put on here a little box and a thinking cloud because this lesson really tells you that you should think outside the box when you are building a community, because when you think outside of the box, it'll give your students more the ability to be creative with what they're saying or what they're doing. So also I read in there, this wasn't really in the chapter, but I feel like this was important to cover because student-teacher relationships in a community classroom, I feel like it ties in because developing a community, you need to have that safe feeling between a teacher. And this helps with like motivation and engagement and academic achievement, because when you feel safe in a place, you're more likely to succeed. You want your student to feel comfortable with trying new things, even if they fail. And I put that right here because failure is important for students by teaching them about improvement and learning. So I put on here my scenario. If I had a classroom with community, building a community in my classroom, this technique would have the students in pods of whatever 4s and 5s, just making sure that everybody has somebody to talk to. This is for discussions and class jobs. I've always wanted to do daily shout outs to where at the end of the day, you all sit on the carpet and you say what they like the most about one specific student, or everybody goes around and praises somebody, well, not praises, but gives them a shout out about what they did good today. And also having a classroom activity where you're moving towards a goal as a whole. And for example, that would be like having the end of the year goal of reading 20 books each. And then you guys have it on the board to where so-and-so is reading and so-and-so is reading, and so getting that goal up and up and up. It also develops a foundation of cooperating with everybody and understanding one another. Personally, I really enjoyed this chapter because I think that my favorite way of teaching is teaching as a community, because it gives the students just a way of having a voice, and that's super important because that's one thing I really struggled in as a child. And I think that with that being said, I think that this is one way that I would definitely teach if I was given the opportunity to. I've attached my poster in the comments also. Thank you.